Welcome to Heal into Happy. I invite you to take an adventure with me into your very own universe as I guide you to go within, release your fears, and become empowered to create a life you love. I am your host, Lark Allen. My intention is to help you shine a light on everything that is keeping you from being truly free. You can expect this healing journey to be filled with love, laughter, clarity, and fun. Are you ready to take a leap of faith? Let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Spring Rayne. There's so many things that I am excited to talk to you about. So before I started recording, we talked, and we are going to get to have Spring on for more than one podcast, because beyond what she's doing with her Starseed School, she also is a published author and a vegan food chef. She has an herbal product line, and she actually healed herself from 4 types of cancer. So there's so many deep dives that I'm excited to take with Spring. But for now, we're going to focus on her discussing the 3 questions that we're doing in this season. And then we are definitely going to have her on for some encores, because there's just so many things and there's so many questions that I desire to hear Spring's interpretation of life and all of the things. So today, as I welcome you, Spring, before we dive into the questions, I am just so excited to hear more about your Starseed School. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Heal into Happy. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So tell me all the things about your Starseed School.
Oh my gosh, where do we start? Well, for one, we're virtual, which I really didn't want to do in the beginning. My vision was to have a brick and mortar, really cool school. But we did start virtual during the pandemic because I needed a place to put my daughter. I was not okay with these crazy pandemic mandates and all that stuff. And we're in a very strict county, which just lifted it like Friday of last week.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was lifted before, but only for like a month last year sometime. I don't even remember when. But anyway, I did not want to put her in school with any of that. And I decided to pull her out of the kindergarten she was in and decided to finish out at home with her. And it was a big challenge for me, also working from home and having 2 other businesses. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this because I am going crazy right now. So anyway, I hired an amazing teacher, Mr. Gordon, and he is a certified teacher, but did not renew his certification right before the pandemic because they were requiring 90 hours of additional training for COVID, even if he was going to be virtual. So he decided to not participate in that, and we welcomed him in with open arms. So he is our virtual teacher, and kind of what we look like on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when we go virtually, because it's a lot for those kids to go. Especially the younger ones, all the kids to go, be on screen time that long as the normal kids in public school were having to do. It's almost as much as a work week with this public school kids have to go to school. It's almost maybe a couple hours shy of an adult work week. And
yeah.
When I did a lot of research, I found out that it was because that's how the Rockefellers and the Ford Motor Company and those that created the schooling system is to create good workers. Obedience and workers and such. And so when I realized what the whole system structure was about, I was like, okay, we're going opposite.
Yeah, I've heard that too, like to be good and patient, being in line. And
I decided we're breaking that.
Yes.
And I've had many parents ask me, well, you're accredited school. I'm like, no, purposely not, because the accreditation is horrid and we are striving to be way better than this,
Mm-hmm.
And one day I will come up with my own accreditation that others will hopefully follow.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, that's co-creating heaven on earth for sure, because you're changing the paradigm.
Correct. So we basically go online with Mr. Gordon 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The younger school does. We have also extended it out to middle school and high school. We have not had the opportunity of even advertising that really yet, because we were about to launch that and we were in the Colorado fires. I don't know if anyone saw what was going on with that, but in December 30th, our entire town got evacuated from massive fires and 102-mile winds.
Wow.
So we were displaced for a while. We're actually packing to move now. So everything's kind of up in the air. But we have more projects going on. So we do have middle school and high school students slots available, just don't have any yet. So if anyone's interested in that too, we have all 3 levels, lower, middle, and upper available. So, but first 15 minutes in the mornings of our school, on Mondays, I get on with the kids. I get on with them every day, but I get on with them as the principal in the morning, give a little announcements or whatever. We pull cards. We pull oracle or tarot cards, or we do healing work. We have the kids work on certain things that we get a message for the week and then talk about how that could pertain to each kid. Also to the parents. The parents usually like to jump in those first 15 minutes and get the morning message. And it's pretty nice. On Wednesdays, we have exercise day. So they do gym and yoga, just for 15, 20 minutes, the body moving. And on Fridays, we have angel class. And that is with my dear friend, Miss Terry. She's been teaching these angel classes for 20 plus years or more. But her favorite thing is actually working with the kids because she knows she's really good with, playing games and, teaching them all kinds of games to play with their angels to get solid, good answers. So they are never feeling lonely. They know how to heal themselves. They know how to heal others. It's just a beautiful class. And another one that the parents jump in on,
Wow.
So then on Wednesdays, after Mr. Gordon does, we don't have time to go through what they do in public school with everything. So we actually condense it the best we can for the kids to learn. Like we'll mix in their writing subjects or their grammar stuff with a science or a social studies. So that way they're getting both, practice. Again, we do stuff differently like that. We don't do A, B, C, D grades. Sometimes the kids like to ask for that kind of stuff just to help, but we're trying to break that mold. We want kids to actually learn the information. If they don't know it and they don't do well, then we're not going to move on until they do. They might need extra help with the parent or extra help with the teacher afterwards just to get caught up. So they really understand that before we move on. So that's something very different. Some parents aren't really down for that switch into no A, B, C, D grades because that's how we've all been programmed, but that's just how we do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time to take that away.
And we will get them college ready. I mean, for the most part, if college might be kind of non-existent by then or very shifted by the time these, at least the elementary school kids get in up there. But I believe the whole college structure will be changed too. And I'm down for helping to shift that too, But we create entrepreneurs already at this age. So maybe they won't even need college. Maybe it'll just need to, learn how to do trade schools and things. But they also follow their passion. So making businesses out of things that they're passionate about, it's not even work.
Yeah, just going right into what sets their soul on fire.
Exactly. They don't have to wait till they're out of school. We already have them doing art. Like it was their idea to do an art fundraiser, and we're going to have it launched through the summer because we have a lot going on right now. And they're all making up different art projects. Some of them they're going to actually work into NFTs. The art teachers helping them get into that. But they're creating certain things, and we're going to have an auction, and it'll be a fundraiser for the school. And also they'll receive half the proceeds. The kids, whoever sells, if people want to donate paintings, half the proceeds will go to them and half will go to the school.
Wow, I love that.
Some of the artists are fully donating everything. We can keep all proceeds, and, they have it specifically marked for certain prices. So it's a big project, but that's what these kids wanted to do. I'm like, okay. So we're working on it. We're trying to make it work. It's taken some time. We got to build a website. We got to build all this stuff, So I think they can do it. I have faith in them.
That is really cool. And you're putting the power with them and you're believing in them, and, having adults that are cheerleading mentors is so, so important.
Yes. And that's the kind of homework and school projects we have. I mean, yes, on Tuesdays and Thursdays when there's no online school, they have assignments, and whatever they don't get done on the other days, during the class is what they catch up on. They also have other assignments, but they have the time and the choice. They can go outside and do the assignment if it's nice. We encourage that. We encourage them to do class outside if they can. It's a little harder in the winter when you're in Colorado, but during the spring all the way through like early winter, we're usually pretty good. Yeah, we can go outside. We take our backpack on a trail and do one assignment here and then go find another spot. And it kind of helps them really focus better, you know?
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, connecting with nature. And we're also like doing science class at the same time on the way. So take pictures of these. And then most of our apps don't have signal out on our trails. We take pictures of them and then we study what we're inspecting when we get home, when we have signal, and the apps will show you what plant that is, what it's used for medicinally. It's really cool. So.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm so happy that you have the Starseed School, and we will be putting all of the links in the show notes for anybody that's curious. And so it seems like, other than the time zone issue, you could be anywhere in the world and decide to enroll your child.
Yes. Like our teacher, technically, he started out in Colorado, and then he, during the pandemic, escaped over to Argentina to marry his sweet bride.
Oh.
He had been waiting for it forever, and he got the last window out. So he now teaches them from Argentina. So it's like 1:00 in the afternoon for him when he starts, and we start at like 9 for the mountain time. It starts at 8 for Pacific, and then it starts at 11 for Eastern.
Okay.
But yeah, we can, there's still other islands and time zones if they're okay with starting at noon and going later, it depends on if they're younger. We don't really want them to be off a schedule but we try to work it out where their lunch breaks and schedules kind of all, mixed in pretty good in that 5 hours. For the most part, it kind of benefits all of them. The kids made their own schedule. They said what subjects they want first to get out of the way. We do art on Wednesday at the end of the day. We do culinary on the days that we're not online with the teacher. The first and the third Tuesdays of the month, we pick one fruit or vegetable and learn all about that, and then do a recipe. And then the kids do a challenge recipe. So even if they don't like that food, they have to find something out there that they would like, and they can create with that food. And then they all do it at the same time, create their own thing at home and share. Wow. Yeah, they learn about superfoods and the benefits of them all and why they want to eat them. And it's crazy. Some of them will find this craziest ingredient and they'll put it in a smoothie. That works, that counts, So, and then once a month, we go on a field trip, and each kid gets to host, since we're virtual, as long as there is signal where they're at and that we can all join on Zoom. They get to host a field trip either at a park or, on a trail or a museum or, any kind of event. So that's been kind of fun. But yeah, we try to keep it as much as we can. And as soon as we get a building, oh my gosh, the way we will grow, it'll be amazing.
So cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do our heaven on earth questions. And I feel like you're already contributing so much to that. And then we will have you on for all of the other things. There's so many things I want to talk to you about. Okay, so question number 1, tell me a time that you have experienced heaven on earth.
There's been quite a few. I try to always seek out those scenarios. Let's say I put it out in the universe every day that something like that will happen. But one really particular one that sticks out to me that does pertain to the school is, since a young teenager, my parents actually took us to Hawaii as kids. It was a big deal because we never really went anywhere except for the mountains, living in Florida. So it was a big deal for us. And I didn't understand really a lot of spiritual things back then. I think it was maybe 13. It was the first time I really had a very strong deja vu feeling. And I was just on this cliff looking over the ocean, and I felt so strongly that I had been there before. And it was just, the waves crashing all around. There was dolphins out there. You could even see some, not the orcas, but the humpback whales were there. And it was just like they were talking to me. And it just felt, and you could smell all the flowers. You could smell the pineapple fields. It was just, to me, it just really felt like heaven on earth. And I had been there before and I've always known. And as we were leaving that little spot, I was watching like a, kind of like a preschool. like a private school or whatever, maybe might have been just a nanny, had 4 or 5 kids, who knows? But it was amazing because they were all out there doing like drawing, sitting at the ocean and just drawing there. And then they were all walking back in line with, eating lunch, having lunch and sitting at the ocean and drawing, and then walking back and picking things from the garden on the way back. You could just see what the kids were doing. And I was just, as 13 years old, I could just feel like, oh my gosh, why can't our schools be like that? Like I would have loved to have a school like that, or even right now as a teenager, wanted to have something like that. So it was a spark from then for the school, but it was just an amazing experience. And every time I've gone, I've not had this feeling on the island of Oahu specifically, because I haven't really gone anywhere outside city-ish areas, but anywhere else on the island. So like Lanai and Maui, Molokai, and then Lanai, I think all of those different ones I've had some experience, and the Big Island, I've had experiences like deja vu again on all of those, except for the main one, I guess. But that feeling just comes back like, oh my gosh, you're home. Not sure I want to live there with all the crazy stuff going on, but it's just that beautiful I'm home feeling. And I wanted to bring that kind of feeling into my school. Yeah, we wouldn't be by the oceans and such like that, but we would have gardens. The kids would be able to be outside with their food and, sit there with their little drawing pads and sketch the ocean or, what they were seeing. And you could tell that they were connecting with the dolphins and the whales. So it was just something I was like, wow. It was just, as a young girl, I just saw it and was amazed and wanted to keep that and cherish that and bring it into the school system now.
Wow, that's really beautiful. You kind of had a time traveling experience where that 13-year-old version of you got to see the past of you being in Lumeria and then the future of you opening your school.
Yes, it was definitely, like I said, every time I go, it's just like, wow, I want to stay. But then, it's just all the politics and stuff. It's actually as expensive here in Colorado as it is in Hawaii generally now.
Well, I feel like the places that are the most sacred also are the places that the inversions try to take hold the most. But in the end, nothing can stop the true freedom and sovereignty. And so eventually all of our places will be completely free.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. I did find that energy. That's kind of why at first I'd moved here to Boulder area, being up in the mountains and by that creek, even though it was a completely different scenery than Hawaii. It was not like a deja vu, but it was definitely feeling like it had the same feel as Hawaii without the ocean. It had that same vibe, but not quite deja vu like I had been there before. So I was really connected to this area. I'm sad to probably leave now, but I enjoyed it while we were here. Yeah, the fires basically kind of made us really sad, and we were so close to them and had some damage and stuff. We kind of have to go.
Wow.
We're going to give the opportunity to 1,000 other people who want this house. And and relocate the school, maybe even close to Stasia. Who knows?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. I don't know. She's kind of more South Arizona though, right? I think, isn't she?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, we're going to be a little bit, maybe looking in the area, maybe a little bit south of Sedona. Don't want to be in that area. Between there and Phoenix, maybe.
Wow.
Yes. Our new Starseed location will actually start up, because we were going to do it here, but I'm sure there's some people that are like us here, but the majority of them in this county we found out during the pandemic, they're just really programmed, closed-minded people, even if they're spiritual. And it was really sad to find out.
Yeah, there's been a lot of eye-opening experiences through all of this.
It has been. So I just know that I don't want to do it here, and that's fine. I'll find a new place and a new area. And those fires were a blessing in disguise, getting us to where we needed to go. So that's how I am viewing it. We have to.
Yes, everything is for greater good, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Question number 2. Here's a magic wand, and with this magic wand, you can create heaven on earth. What is heaven on earth for you?
So heaven on earth at first is the virtual school. But as I create the school more, like I said, when we do have that location, I would like it to be at least property, or backing up to some kind of property that we can have access to, like some kind of, national park or something that's some kind of nature. So even if we don't own it, it's something that we can have access to, where the kids can go out there with their little sketch pads and study the forest or study whatever, is by there. They kind of silly call it holistic Hogwarts. So even though it's not, we don't do any pagan or witchcraft or anything like that, we are spiritual and earth-based, and all religions, God-based. We want to mix being able to tap into, the earth and have them planting. So they're going to have their own gardens. They currently already do. Each kid is supposed to have their own little plant, at least one plant at home to study as we go, an herb or vegetable or something that they can harvest. So they study it. So we do that currently individually, but we want it to be at the school. And we're going to have an organic cafe. So we'll be able to feed the kids. All the kids will be able to be included in culinary and, different shifts during the day. So that way they'll be responsible for creating their own food and blessing the food. If someone's in a cranky mood, we don't want that child in culinary that day. But honestly, like I said, or we're going to go do something to shift them to a different time class or something. That way we don't want any sad energy into the food. That's one of the things that we really try to teach our kids is, what we put into our bodies naturally, even just the energy. If you're eating an animal or anything too, like the energy that they've been going through and what they've felt, we teach them all that stuff. It's very important. That way they can just really respect food that's going into their bodies and, be grateful for it and ask for nourishment. If they're eating something not so good, how do you bless it so it doesn't really affect you as bad? It's not saying you should always have it, but how do you do it when you're in a pinch?
Right.
There is a lot of that. Like we travel a lot. Sometimes there's a pinch.
Right. Wow. I love that. That's wonderful.
Yes. We aspire to have, I don't know if anyone's heard of the Vibes Up mats. It's a cool company out of California. She has these earth mats that are made up with all kinds of herbs and crystals, like in a silicone mat. You can put them under your computers. We will have pieces of them under the floor when we make our school.
Called Earth Map?
It's called Vibes Up,
Vibes Up.
VIBES, UP, EMF harmonizing, because a lot of these kids are sensitive, and I know I am.
Yeah, me too.
I know I had a really hard time doing even just college and stuff, just electronics going on in certain rooms, and things just bothered me. I had to go into a testing center and schedule my test to be done at the same time as the symphony practice.
Wow.
So I could pass my test. If I didn't, then I was screwed. The energy and where the classrooms were located and stuff. And I didn't understand any of it. I just knew I had to go to the testing center by the symphony. Allowing them. And the tests that these kids have aren't like, again, pass or fail. It's like, how well did you do? Okay, well, can we work on better? Let's go practice that again.
Right.
So, they won't have that kind of stress and struggle, thankfully, or hopefully less. So we strive for that. And we're going to have those all over the walls and in the floors and on their seats. They'll each be able to get one to take home with them so they can have it under their laptop or under their butt as they sit. We'll have essential oils available. We'll have them diffused in the rooms, make sure that, no kids have certain allergies to things, but things to keep the germs out. We will be using natural kinds of cleaning supplies and natural kinds of soaps and all kinds of, just like what we do in a normal holistic home, just be a big home. We'll also have we'll have a healing center for the kids and for the parents. Instead of going in detention, you're going to go figure out what's causing you to act up a little bit. What's going on with your emotions? Don't stuff and bury them and go do some more schoolwork. What's going on with you, buddy?
Yeah.
Let's go figure it out. Is it your diet? Is it your emotions? You have something going on at home? What can we do to heal them? So that's something we do kind of all virtually now. It'll be nicer to have it in a building. But yeah, we scan the kids with Cyto, which is a biofeedback machine. So each kid that gets a full core classes and, the whole package basically with the regular teaching. They get an included Zyto scan every year. They can do it at the beginning of the year if they want, or if they want to wait till there's an issue going on so we can catch it. It's up to them because, some people feel great and then all of a sudden there's an issue and they want to save it till there's an actual issue, So it'll tell them exactly what needs to be helped with their diet, with their sleep schedule, with their water intake, with their brain, with their hormones. It's amazing stuff. And we have them take the scans to their doctors if they need to do any tests or labs. Like I said, most of the doctors are usually blown away. They're like, "Where did you get this?" And they're like, "In my basement."
Wow.
But it's been out for a long time. It used to even diagnose cancers and such, but FDA, of course, got involved with all that, and they had to remove all that kind of stuff. So you have to kind of know how to read through the back doors, so to speak. But we also don't want to view anything as an actual cancer. It's just an imbalance in the body.
Right.
So just how do we fix that? How do we heal that?
Okay. So question number 3, what simple, easy, concrete step will you take in the next 24 hours to make heaven on earth real?
Apply for an SBA loan for FEMA from through FEMA for the school, because I was just told that the deadline is Tuesday and we're eligible from the fires. So that is something that will actually get me to hopefully move to where we want to be and put the school up.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. That's very divine intervention.
Exactly what I'm doing when we're done with our chat.
Wow, that's perfect timing.
In the next 20 minutes, we'll say.
Well, Spring, I am so honored to have you on, and I look forward to having more podcasts with you. I know that my listeners are going to gain so much more insight on so many different things, and I really appreciate you being on today. And Spring and I are offering everyone that's listening so much love and so much light, and I feel like it's so exciting. You can expect to hear Spring sharing so many other things on podcasts to come. So thank you so much for being on, Spring.
Thank you. Have a blue sky day, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you for joining me today on Heal into Happy. My prayer is that you have gained more insight into your healing journey and that you are one step closer to loving yourself more fully in this now moment. And if you could do me a favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. My passion is empowering others on their healing journey, and with your review, you may help others struggling to heal find this message. Be sure to visit me at healintohappy.com for past episodes and more ways to connect with me. Also, please always remember that I am offering you so much love and light as I celebrate the divine sovereign being that I see in you.